First they said you couldn't beat Josh Allen on the road. Check. Then they said you can't take an entire division, can you? Yes, we can. And we did. Ask the NFC South. Tonight, hey Jets, you're next. We're previewing it all show long right here on Boston Has Entered the Chat.
Letting me just play the game of football out on the football field. And everything established about my football career began here in New England as a Patriot. So it was an absolute no-brainer to come here and retire as a Patriot.
Well, it's great to see Rob Gronkowski back in New England. He'll also be the keeper of the light tonight. We'll hear from him coming up as well.
And can the Bruins double up on revenge? We've got another Senators-Bruins preview coming at you. Boston Has Entered the Chat starts now.
That's right, Case. We are ready to go, too. You better believe it. 617-790-0928. I'm giving out the number early because we need you to get in here as we welcome you into the Salem 5 studios for Boston Has Entered the Chat. We want to hear from you. Your Patriots, red hot tonight, looking for 8 in a row. Your Bruins, red hot tonight, looking for 8 in a row. Get in here and party with us. Travis Thomas, Big Dog, Joe Murray. Now, what was that, Chihuahua?
You're a big dog.
Let me get DMX where my dog's at.
That's exactly what I want.
I wanted to join the barking, but it would have been way less than even that one.
Please. The Kasey Hudson here for Boston Has Entered the Chat, and welcome to you. Look, a lot coming up in the show. We laid it out for you, but we're starting with game day. The Jets are the next victim. Are they not tonight? Come on.
Of course they are. They have to be. And not just because of the whole, is this a throwaway game? What does it mean if they lose? All of the context clues that we want to place throughout this. The bottom line is the Patriots being the better team, but having an opportunity in this matchup to just check a lot of boxes. The things that they haven't done so well over the course of the season thus far, they have an ability to kind of test themselves in that manner as well versus a Jets team that, yes, you can't count out any team. You guys know that I'm very much not the person to ever underestimate any sort of underdog, but to come off of the high of beating the Bucs, there's just some things that you want to see this team replicate or also do better. And you're going against a Jets team that was able to provide a number of pressures versus the Browns for one, for two, come in hot with a number of sacks that they were able to punch in. And what we want to see kind of get right side up with this Patriots team is Drake May upright, the offensive line protecting him even more, and then let's see what the establishment of the run game can be early on and consistently sprinkled out throughout the game.
Yeah, I think staying healthy, Drake May, all that, but it is a short week, and you have to lean on your veterans as well. I know Steph Diggs has spoken about it this week, Morgan Moses. Everyone's showing up to the weight room, but this is a week here where just get out with a win. It doesn't have to be pretty, no style points, but we still have to watch on that short week. I mentioned the Jets. They're coming off a win.
2 wins in a row.
2 wins in a row. They had a bye recently.
Yeah.
Generally playing on a short week after the bye and playing, not a great spot. But for the Patriots, just get the win. No style points and stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, that's all that really matters is, look, sometimes it's not going to look sexy. Who gives a damn? I mean, these are divisional games. The Jets stink, but they always give the Patriots some issues when you least expect it. This could be a spot tonight. Just don't lose the damn game. You heard Joe allude to it, how these veterans are talking about, hey, it's a short week, it's a little challenging. Here is Stephon Diggs on that very topic.
What are the most challenging parts of playing 2 games in 5 days from a player perspective, trying to recover and also get ready?
It's just shaking the body back for real. Like, go from, you get a couple of days off, so you get less and less. But as far as, I think for us, the mental focus, that's going to be the biggest difference as far as coming back, shaking back, and being mentally prepared to go out there and fly around. Because once the runs to blow, ain't nobody thinking about how they feel or their body. You're just thinking about executing at a high level. And I think they put a great plan together, and we still got to keep flipping those pages and just honing in on the details.
What do you see from the Jets? And is that a challenge because of their record kind of coming off of the Buccaneers game, or is it just a challenge generally coming back that quickly?
I think it's a challenge generally, and because they actually have a lot of playmakers on the team. You see, they were in a dogfight with Tampa, just like us. You see they had that sparingly hearing that success, those flashes of they're going to be a good team, when they put it all together. So they've been having some success. I think they're coming off a big dub. It's just, it's going to be another test for us. People get caught up in the records and that kind of thing, but their defense plays sound. They got good edge rushers. They got good guys in the back end that make plays. So I think it's just another test for us. Don't get caught in what everybody say about a team. Take it for face value on what you see. So And one of the guys had like 5 sacks. You know? That doesn't happen by anomaly or osmosis. Guys working hard and playing as a unit. So.
617-790-0928. We need your predictions for this game tonight. Matt tweets at us his prediction: pain. Listen to this backhanded nonsense. The Pats are literally the Commanders of last year. And you see them this year with a real schedule, LOL. Media just loves running with a new shiny toy until they use it up and move on to the next thing. Hey, Matt, what's your problem, bruh? First of all, this is a backhanded compliment because he's saying the Patriots, because of this schedule, it being so soft, that's why they look like the Commanders of last year. Squeeze me. I'll take the Commanders of last year. What the problem is, they were a bad half against the Eagles away from going to the Super Bowl. So where's the diss? And then when you say, well, next season when they have a real schedule, watch what happens. I'll gladly cross that bridge when it comes, okay? I don't think our quarterback is going to get hurt like their quarterback. Knock on wood, knock on wood. But, honestly, where's the diss here? What's your problem? You can't just sit back and enjoy the show? You got to take shots for next year? What's wrong with you?
Well, because everybody wants to find something to complain about. But, some of it didn't even make sense to me because, for one, you're talking about a Commanders team that you are trying to diss in a sense that I don't know what's hindered this Commanders team. Anybody here? The injuries?
Yes.
Right. So how can you talk about a team that can't even put the same lineup, matchups, roster out there to compete? It's not one and the same, number one. Number two,
Amen.
I almost see this as a reverse effect because Drake May was put through the ringer to try to command and lead this team last year, considering all the factors and the adversity that the Patriots were going through. So now he's very much not in any sort of sophomore slump. So our new shiny toy is actually just continuing to find his stride, his potential, and his ceiling, and getting the right pieces now to come into play with him. And I think the future is tremendously bright considering how they will continue to make sure that Drake May finds success here. Also, I just talked about it yesterday, Joe. The strength of schedule thing, calm down on it a smidge. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Everybody was talking about their weak sleeper schedule that they were going to have after that. And yeah, they very much had a soft schedule. And then up until the bye week comes in to play in the 2020 season. And then things get a little bit tougher for them. I think that this Patriots team has done very well not that they choose it, but has had a good drop of litmus test throughout the season. You beat a Bucs team. You beat the Raiders, who in the beginning of the year were challenging enough. Or you didn't beat the Raiders, but you face a test there. But you've had enough.
Bills on the road.
The Bills on the road. Thank you. You've had enough kind of challenges to see what lies for this team. So it's a little dramatic.
Yeah, the Patriots are in the whole league's head, whether it's fans, whether it's other.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
They have their coach. They have their quarterback. They got the most wins in the league. Like, everyone's a hater right now. And I love it. I'm all in on it. But if they are the Commanders, great. Like, again, they made the NFC Championship game, to your point. But the hindsight, everyone's upset or bitter because they lost their quarterback. That is one of the biggest things for the Patriots, though. If Drake May goes down, it is different. But maybe they're starting to build up their team a little bit where you can actually maybe lean on their coaching staff and the coaching. So I don't know if I'm necessarily set on that to that tweet that we just heard there. But again, Pats, Jets tonight. Take care of business, win the game, primetime game as well.
That's right.
Last time, Drake May won, but last year on short rest. They lost to the Chargers.
That's right. That is right.
The Jets have been scrappy.
Hey, by the way, Patriots better get used to prime time because I think we're a couple of these games coming down the pike, Ravens and all that. These games are going to get flexed. I'm just telling you right now. So Patriots in prime time, we need to get used to it. They need to get used to it because we're going to see a lot more of it even next year where Matt was dissing, right? Let's see when the schedule gets tight. Okay, we'll see because they're going to be on prime time a bunch next year. I guarantee that. All right, here's the best thing. I think Mike Vrabel right now is sitting at the table and he has all the chips. All of them. Because one thing about Vrabes, he knows and he loves about this team, they're focused, man. They ain't taking the cheese. Take a listen.
I think those are always hard. That's human nature. We just have to stay consistent through our actions. And quick turnaround, these guys were locked in, prepared. And it's like there's times where I want to, pull the head coaching card out and, stray away and kind of, run around here slamming everything, yelling, and really haven't had to, where you try to make up, fabricate some conflict. And yesterday they responded. They did everything we asked them to do. Recovery, preparation, walkthrough practices, being able to run and get some of the soreness out of them. They bought into that. So those are all really positive things. We never want to, take the cheese and get into all that. And certainly there's a human element to it, But, when things are going good, you have to be able to prepare for things when they're not. And I think that we try to do that. We try to stay focused so that we're not in any sort of like panic mode.
Yo, the Magnum PI stash is killing me. Vrabel's killing. Vrabel, dog, you gotta shave that, bro. You look like an extra in Boogie Nights. You gotta relax.
I think it looks fine.
No, it doesn't.
It's
no,
the
it doesn't.
November thing.
Now, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I'll say. I think, as I say, he has all the chips, right? With this team, now he can start to play that underdog role. A lot of coaches kind of wait and keep that in their back pocket. Every team does this. The Dodgers would tell you, no one believed in us. Yeah, we did. You're the Avengers. It took you 7 games. You got it done. I get it. It was tight there for a while. But there's no us against the world with some of these teams that use that moniker. Vrabel can actually do this now because he can say, look at all we've done, guys. No one's picking us. No one believes in us. No one thinks he's the MVP. No one thinks, it's beautiful. This is a team. I don't know if they're going to the Super Bowl. I'm not betting on it, but I don't know. I will tell you this. I would not want to come here and play these Patriots. I would want no parts of that. Now, there's certain guys who don't fear anything. Patrick Mahomes ain't worried about that, right? We understand that. But if I'm a Colt or a Bronco or a Charger or a Bill or some of these other teams we're looking at that we think are going to be there, I don't want to come here and play these boys. Vrabel's going to lean into underdog, no one believes in us, little engine that could. Watch this team. This is going to be a dangerous team when it's cold out here in January.
Speaking of that, the veterans this week said that they wanted to practice outside when they had a chance to practice inside this week, Kasey. So the veterans really want to keep things going. They're going to get a little bye, too, after this game.
That's right.
So they'll have a chance to rest, and then they're on to Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. All I heard the description of pros being pros.
Yes.
And that's the one thing that I think has awfully helped this locker room level up in a sense on top of the new established culture. But it all starts with tonight versus the Jets.
Yeah.
And look, I don't like to force your hand. I usually try to be a good friend and protect everybody's pockets here.
Wait a minute.
But if we're sitting here talking about the Patriots picking up 8 straight, you got to talk about, I don't know, the potential 200-plus yard passing performance by Drake May.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Can it be more from Henderson? Could it be?
I like it.
What do you like most?
Listen, I've been betting the Drake May over on rushing yards forever and ever, amen, going back to his rookie year.
Can we get a pivot?
He didn't hit it last week. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm going back to the well again for that. And then Travion. I'm all in. Listen, last week, everyone says it was a breakout game. No, it was a about damn time game.
Right.
I think Travion gets some carries and touches tonight. He may get some throws his way as well. I'm big on Travion Henderson tonight in the draft. I'd probably look at an anytime touchdown from him.
Oh,
and then
it's on the sweet spot.
And then Drake May over on rushing yards. That's where I'm at tonight. Player props.
Okay.
I'm not betting the game side or total. I don't trust. I kind of think the Jets are going to cover, to be honest, but I don't trust them enough to put my money there.
Explosive plays, take the over.
Oh,
Keep throwing that ball downfield,
I like that.
Drake May.
It's a low
Keep
total,
throwing
too.
it down there.
It's 43 and a half.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a low total. I like the over.
Okay, I don't hate it. Yeah.
That's a lot of bets just flying out.
Plus, I need to stay awake all night for this one, too. It's going to be a long night.
Yeah.
Early morning as well.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. I would like to apologize now to everyone for how I will be on this show tomorrow. It's going to be a lot.
An extra dose of caffeine.
617-790-0928. Call us. We need predictions. I think I'm going to go 2013. Ugly game, ugly win, but a win is a win.
Oh, you're not getting a prediction from us, so there we go.
All right.
Patriots win, they roll.
When we come back, what's trending in the world of sports? Spoiler alert, more Patriots. Gronk, specifically. We'll tell you more when we come back right here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Roll with us.
Back at it live from the Salem 5 studio. Welcome into Boston has entered the chat just in time for what's trending in the world of sports, keeping it in New England. Rob Gronkowski officially signs the one-dayer?
Yeah,
to retire.
Yeah,
to retire as a Patriot. I was trying to make it sound flashy, but I don't have to do that. It's Rob Gronkowski, everyone.
Facts.
Take a listen to him right here on the honor of retiring as a Patriot.
I'm a New England Patriot. I'm a Patriot for life. My career started here at 100%, needed to end here. There's no doubt about that. I mean, the whole Gronk persona, everything about myself was all because of you guys, was all because of the fans here in New England, was all because of my teammates accepting me, and everyone else here, you know, just accepting who I was from the very beginning and embracing it and letting me just play the game of football out on the football field. And everything established about my football career began here in New England as a Patriot. So it was an absolute no-brainer to come here and retire as a Patriot. We are here today to do this one-day contract, which I think it's very reasonable. I think it's the right play to do it as well today, and it couldn't have been a better situation this week, Thursday Night Football versus the Jets tomorrow night, and to be back here in Foxborough is a blessing and an honor, and it's always a privilege to come here, and it brings back so many memories, you know, throughout my career. Just seeing a couple guys, David Andrews, Brian Hoyer threw me my first touchdown pass, you know, when it wasn't a regular season game, it was a preseason game. And doesn't matter, he got the ball rolling for me. He believed in me, and then Tom saw that pass that he threw to me, so then Tom wanted to throw me some touchdowns the next game.
A memory is a memory.
Cool.
We've got plenty of our own, believe it or not, but listen to some of these tweets. That one Boston fan, best of all time, full stop. Argue with a wall. I actually won't argue with a wall because I will not argue with that at all. General Mayhem. I got to spell something out for you guys, but you spelled 10AK wrong. What does that mean exactly?
Huh?
One of a kind.
Oh,
Basically.
I thought it was one oak.
No.
Is that a club or a lounge?
It's not.
Is that a hookah lounge?
It's a one-of-a-kind situation, gentlemen.
Oh.
He was the best after-the-catch receiver in the history of football. General, you are the expert. I do not disagree. Then you have another tweet here. Greatest tight end in history.
Facts.
And it's not remotely close.
Yep.
I can agree with that because some of my fondest memories when it comes to Rob Gronkowski is the absolute terror that he was, but anybody that knows me, anybody that has heard me speak knows.
Love him.
One of the prerequisites, one of the resume
Facts.
boxes that you have to check off for me in the tight end category is being able to put your freaking hand in the dirt.
Yes.
He was the all-encompassing tight end, and whether you were in New England watching from afar, you knew that he was going to be one of the best tight ends in the entire NFL, and it stands.
You're preaching. I mean, that was poetry. I think that's what separates him from his peers. Like the tweet that said argue with a wall is absolutely right because Gonzalez was fantastic.
Yeah.
Antonio Gates, filthy McNasty, forget about it. Shannon Sharp, we know is great.
Travis Kelce's
ridiculous. Ask Taylor Swift. But
stop it.
But what separated Gronk was exactly what Kasey just said. He is the greatest blocking tight end of all time. And then, oh, by the way, he could catch.
Yeah.
He could run after the catch. He looks
Swiss
like
Army
he was,
knife doesn't even feel like it properly describes
No, it's
him.
not. You know why? He was a force of nature. That's
go.
why. He looks like he was made in a G-damn lab. Now, he couldn't, I guess if you're nitpicking, you could say, well, he couldn't stay healthy. Well, when he did, what happened? Okay, so Gronk, in my opinion, is the GOAT. No question. And the blocking, Kasey, to your point, is what separates him.
Nasty.
Yeah, and the injuries. You can't talk about Rob Gronkowski without bringing up the injuries.
Yeah.
Imagine what he could have done if he stayed healthy.
Gosh.
Would there even be a conversation? So that's one thing. He was even a risk coming out of college, second-round pick, back injuries. He was outstanding. And again, when you bring up Rob Gronkowski, put respect on his name. Why? He was the best receiver that Tom Brady ever had. And one day they're both going to go to the Hall of Fame. But, you know, Randy Moss was here, Julian Edelman, all those guys. It was Rob Gronkowski that was number one.
Yeah, and it makes sense. His ability just to extend plays. I mean, you got to see the fact that, like, I saw a play once of him in the middle of the field, and I swear he had 2 or 3 guys on his back, and he's still just, like, snatching yards. Like, not a big deal. So from one GOAT like Rob Gronkowski to another GOAT. We started teasing this one on Boston is Under the Chat. We want to see a tweet here from our dear friend Joe, sitting right next to me.
Big dog.
He threw up a poll. Will David Pastrnak finish his career as the Bruins' all-time goal scorer? Look at the names of these legends right here.
Yep.
One of my faves being Phil Esposito. But let's see what the response was. We got a fan tweet here that says, "Hey, Joe." Well, I'm adding some dramatics there. No. We said the same thing about these two guys. Patrice Bergeron, 427. Brad Marchand, 422. And then you can see the poll response right here on the bottom. 73.2% says yes, 20.7% says no, y'all crazy. And then 6.2% says duh.
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 Joe, I voted on this. I did not go duh. I went yes. I kept it professional.
That was you being mild.
He is going
I just asked for clarification.
He's going to soar if he's still in Boston. That's the thing. That's my thing. But listen, people think I'm a little crazy when I say this, but I think he's the next generational goal scorer.
Yes.
Ovechkin had 900. I don't think he gets there.
Yeah.
And when you look at the list, like, could he finish top 5 all time?
Yes.
Maybe he can. He will, though, for the Bruins. He's played 82 games the last 3 seasons. But for me, I think he's probably the next big milestone in Boston sports as well when he hits 500 and he passes Patrice Bergeron.
He has all the makings. And when you look at some of the all-time goal scorers there on the list, you're looking at a number of guys that played center. You know what I'm saying? So like a center's responsibility is doubled up on the ice. They have a lot of defensive responsibility on their shoulders, where wingers, you're out there to score, baby. So like considering what he has done, considering what he is capable of doing, and considering where I think and hope and am praying this roster goes with the talent, the young guys that are going to come in. I made a case yesterday to say I think that Pasta remains a Bruin. He's not going to waste his time and his talent here in Boston. I think that they're going to be able to bring pieces in to continue to amplify that. But he's projected to score another 40-plus goal season campaign.
Man.
You do that, you're talking about a guy who health has been on his side, and prayerfully it remains that way. But he needs just 7 more seasons to be surpassing 600, 700, 800 career goals.
And he's
not
29. He's not an injury-prone guy either. Look, I'll say this. I'll go macro and micro for you guys.
All right.
On the micro, I think he will become the Bruins' all-time leading goal scorer. I think that he gets that. Now, here in town, we appreciate him as we should. We give him his flowers. I don't think nationally he gets the respect that he should. So here's where I'm going to go macro. I have him in the same category as a Connor McDavid, as an Austin Matthews, as these great all-time talents that just need one damn thing, don't they? Now, you win multiple cups, great. But to enter an all-time chat, you need one. Ask Ovi. Pasta's in that same category. That's the big question. Yes, he will. I believe he will become the Bruins' all-time leading goal scorer. But you got to have one cup, dog. You're too great of a player to not get one. I think he will.
Yeah. Can he get another center in here? Like, look at what he's doing right now. He's losing one of his top, centermen. So can he continue to do this at a pace without that center? And when he gets it, could the numbers even go now to 50 goals or more every year?
Well, that's the thing, scoring. Being a goal scorer is the primary of what Pasta does so well. And you're talking about a guy that makes 100-plus points in a season, looks so easy. So it's just when you get that piece in there that can actually dish it up to Pasta, you know what I'm saying? You're only looking at things expanding for him. And, oh, by the way, there's a really hot center on the docket to become a Bruin by the name of James Hayes.
He's coming.
And we talk about
he's in the weight room right now. He's right in the hind parts right now, but he's in the weight room.
We hope. Nothing too crazy, but just enough. Just enough to come in here and make a difference. And he wants to, because the conversation of should he join the Bruins now or should he go back to BC, that conversation was so hot and heavy to the point where these guys are ready to play, and the youth movement taking place in the NHL, he already knows the responsibility on his shoulders. That tandem is going to be pretty sick nasty to watch if and when it comes to play. Something that was sick nasty to watch. That's my phrase right now, I guess. Garrett Crochet.
Sick and nasty.
comes in second AL Cy Young Award. And we got a tweet right here. Unpopular opinion, Garrett Crochet should have won the AL Cy Young Award this year. Look, we were screaming it from the mountaintops here in Boston, I'm not going to lie. And anyone who had the opportunity and honor to watch this man pitch in person live, I can't get over the mechanics of what he does. Yeah, a lot of us wanted this argument to be made entirely, but you can't ignore some of the other guys that push the pavement here. I think what I like is this is a bigger sample size we've gotten of Garrett Crochet, and he rose to the task heavily.
Yeah, I mean, they were dependent on him until Roman Anthony showed up, and then they were still dependent on Crochet, and he still delivered.
Exactly.
Look, he was the MVP of the season, in my opinion, but he should not have won Cy Young. I'm sorry, Beanie, I love you, but you're wrong. Scooble should have won Cy Young, and that's exactly who did it. And by the way, Joe, get ready. We're going back to the bloody sock era. Because I'm telling you right now, Crochet and Scooble together is the greatest 1-2 punch you can ask for in baseball today. And that's exactly what the Sox are going to do. They're going to get him. Tigers don't respect him, don't appreciate him. You don't want to love him? Come on to Boston. We know what to do with you.
In on that, but yeah, he shouldn't have won it. But can he do it again? That's my thing. Because now he's on the radar, right?
Yeah.
Now it's Garrett Crochet should be considered. Just to add to this, Aroldis Chapman finished 7th in the Cy Young, which he had a spectacular
You
day.
got both of those guys in the offseason.
Right.
Think about that.
Right. Well, we're in the offseason now, but let us know your thoughts on Garrett Crochet and what's to come for the Red Sox. 617-790-0928. We talked about young talent. We're going to dive deeper into young talent with Jon Ledyard on the other side as we discuss some Patriots rookies here on Boston is Under the Chat.
No, honestly, man, I really just thank God. You know, it was a tough game. It was a really tough game, and we knew it was going to be tough going into it, and a lot of ups and downs during that game. But specifically during those down moments, I was just trying my best to lean on God to pick me up and give me the strength to keep going, and He was there in that moment to lift me up and give me the strength to push through. But I give the credit to my teammates as well. They fought hard. We all fought hard, and we're a team. And so I couldn't have done it without those guys and the guys up front.
A lot of humility to add with that strength. And on that note, welcome in one of my favorite football minds, Jon Ledyard, to Boston's End of the Chat. Good morning, Jon.
Good morning, y'all. Thanks so much for having me.
Very excited to pick your brain because we can sit here and talk about all the things the Patriots are doing well or not doing as well, or we have the hater tweets that are just like, wait for the downfall to come soon enough. But Jon, you get to help us unpack the most important thing, the young guys making an impact on this team, TreVeyon Henderson being one of them. I remember when we kidnapped you on during the draft or whatever, just so that you can continue to make me feel really good about my demand to have Henderson in New England. What have you made of him? And like his NFL comparisons were of DeAndre Swift and Gibbs and all of these really big time running backs. So how does he continue to impact this New England Patriots team?
Yeah, I think moving forward for him, it's really going to be about finding consistency. This was like the funniest game ever to evaluate from a rushing perspective for the Patriots offense because y'all know, watching the game, it was like nothing, 55-yard touchdown, nothing, 69-yard touchdown. And so we got to see the best of TreVeyon Henderson, which the best of TreVeyon Henderson is that speed, that ability to get in the open field, just the breakaway potential that he has. But also, I hope people didn't miss the balance, too. On the last touchdown of the game, the 69-yarder, the Bucs actually blew that play up pretty good. And Greg Gaines gets a great push, knocks the guard back into Henderson. And a lot of backs go down in that situation. Henderson's able to keep his feet, bounce outside, and then the speed takes over from there. So we knew about the home run hitting ability. That part of it shouldn't really be surprising to anybody, but it's going to be all about consistency for Henderson. In college, he gained repute for how good he was in pass protection. Now, nothing carries over in college as little as pass protection because there's just so much more blitzing. There's so much more deception in fronts in the NFL these days. So for Henderson, that part has to adjust to be able to get on the field more. We know he has the ability. We know he has the desire. He's a very intelligent player. So those things are all there. He has to get just faster at seeing it in terms of pass protection. As long as that continues to improve, I think you'll continue to see more of him. So maybe a little bit concerning that we were seeing them try to get like Terrell Jennings and some other players snaps over him, but hopefully he can parlay these big plays that he had in this game into more success down the road, because the talent is unbelievable. That part's undeniable. He just has to get better at picking up all the different scheme tendencies that you'll see from opponents in the NFL.
Well, John, the running backs get all the credit, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the big boys up front. Will Campbell, Jared Wilson, that left side of the line, SEC side. They've helped protect Drake May this year. What are your thoughts on the Patriots offensive line and their young left tackle and left guard?
Yeah, kind of a mixed bag from both of them so far, but it's a result of being thrown into the fire, really. I mean, like you said, this team drops back a lot. They ask Will Campbell to do a lot in pass protection already. He has been equal to the task in terms of the technical ability, in terms of the mental part of the game. Those things are what you expected to carry over with him. Like, he is probably as good as he's going to get as a rookie. Not a lot of guys can say in the NFL to hit the ground running and be a solid starting tackle in the league right out of the gate. I think that's a really impressive thing. I don't think a lot of guys can make that transition from college. Now, we've also seen with Campbell, when he gets into the really high-profile matchups, there can be some challenges because he isn't maybe as big or as strong as some other tackles in the league when he's in pass protection, at least. Moving forward, I think you see a lot of that stuff. He's able to get under guys' pads. He's able to leverage them. He's able to drive them out of spots. He also is really cerebral on the move in the run game. He can actually adjust to the changing picture as defense flows a certain way or defenders take certain angles. He can adjust his path to be able to block guys. So we saw a bunch of crack tosses in this game. They didn't always work because the Bucs have a very good run defense too, but obviously they get the crack toss that scores at the end of the game, and you can see Campbell's ability to get out from the other side of the crack, to get out in space and to be able to kind of make plays in those situations. So that he's an asset in the run game, I think, just because of all the things you can have on the menu schematically as a rushing attack. And I know they haven't really hit their stride just yet, and hopefully these splash plays will catapult them as a rushing attack. But really, I think Campbell has been one of the bright spots in that area so far this season because of his ability to play that way. You just wonder what's the ceiling in the high-profile matchups against the top guys in pass protection. Is he always going to kind of struggle a little bit in those matchups? He will do everything he's physically capable of doing in those matchups, but you do wonder if there's a talent maybe disparity that shows up at times with him. With Jared Wilson, I think it's been a bumpy road. Let's just be honest. Like, there's been some leverage issues in the run game where you're seeing him get knocked back a little bit, where you're seeing him driven back to the ball. He's the guard that I was saying before, got the gains carried back into Henderson and almost ended that play in a loss rather than a 69-yard game-winning touchdown. And so there are those incidents that show up that make him sort of one of the issues, I think, for them in the run game. I think there's some positive steps in pass protection lately. Elijah Roberts was a good test for him in this game when they matched up. Roberts, another rookie who's having a lot of 1v1 success for the Bucs this season. You are starting to see glimpses of good, and then still some struggles with Jared Wilson in pass protection. Remember, he's coming from center to guard here from college, so there is an adjustment. You're getting more 1v1s than you would. You're sliding in protection and getting more 1v1s right off the snap than you would maybe if you were just at the center position in the NFL at least. So I think you're seeing him adjust to some of those changing angles and dynamics. I think there's so much talent with him. It's all about upside with Jared Wilson, kind of the opposite of Will Campbell in that way, where you might not be that impressed right now, but you're hopeful that in a couple of years he can kind of hit his stride.
John, I'm so glad you went there because I want to talk to you about Drake May, but I have to ask a follow-up about Will Campbell. Hearing you talk and breaking down what you see with him and knowing what you know as it pertains to the draft, am I crazy to sit here today and think that the Patriots could be right back in this position next year and drafting a left tackle, like an actual left tackle, John, and then moving Will Campbell to left guard? Am I a hater for that, or is that something you can see? Because I'm sensing you may see that.
Yes, I was actually a move Will Campbell inside guy, and I thought all along he could be a starting tackle in the league. Like, I wasn't questioning whether he could play tackle in the NFL. I try to evaluate players based off what their ceiling can be, where they're ceiling best at. And so for me, I thought Campbell at guard, and then I was really intrigued by the idea of him as a center too, just because we know the intelligence is there, the IQ is there, and then you have this unique movement ability, which at center you could do a lot of things in the run game with his movement ability. So I haven't seen him snap, so it was hard to say like he can definitely do it because some guys just can't snap and move. It's just like it never clicks for them. So I definitely think there's a possibility that he ends up being better on the inside. Now, you spend a pick of that high, that caliber, you want a guy to play tackle, obviously. But at the end of the day, if you come away, if you nail the tackle pick, if you happen to make it next year, and he becomes a really good interior offensive lineman, I don't think anyone's going to be complaining about that, especially with how much of today's passing attack is built off some of the stuff you can do successfully in the run game. So I think there's a possibility and a path for that to be where New England ends up going with that position. The nice thing about Campbell is I think he's at the very least going to be one of these like super chess pieces, because the mental part of the game for him is so strong. The work ethic is so strong. I think he'll be able to figure it out at a bunch of different spots. I think the question with me was always just what's the ceiling, and certainly they might go tackle anyway and just give themselves options because Morgan Moses' age and some of the injury stuff in the past, even as well as he's played this season. So they're going to, offensive line is going to be a top priority for this team, at least for next offseason, maybe the offseason after that, and then we'll see what they do with all the young pieces. But they've at least moved in the right direction this year after last year was maybe the worst group in football.
John, I couldn't agree with you more. In fact, what you described is actually a higher ceiling than I have for Will Campbell. What you described, if he plays tackle, guard, center, and he kind of moves up and down the line wherever you need him, if he can stay healthy, I mean, if he could do that for a decade plus, he could become the greatest offensive lineman this franchise has ever seen. I think he has that kind of potential. Let's see if we agree here. I want to ask you about Drake May's quarterback class. Two-part question. When you watch Drake, what do you see and you like from him? And then here's the other part. Here's a doozy for you. You know, I think right now it's fair to say Penix, Bo Nix, and McCarthy are kind of a tier down for now. Right now, it's the top of that draft. It is Caleb, it's Jaden Daniels, although he's dealing with injuries. We saw what he can be when healthy, and it's Drake. If you're redrafting John, I mean, did we get the order right? Would you take someone higher than maybe we saw? What do you see that you like from Drake, and how would you redraft that draft class now based on what you know?
Yeah, I mean, Drake May's going first. No
First?
question about that to me. Yeah, I mean, I like Jaden Daniels still a lot. And you could talk me into a world in which they're the same caliber of talent, which I'm totally on board with. I had May higher than Daniels. I was probably a little bit too low on Daniels in retrospect when he's been healthy. And when he's healthy, like, I think the dynamic with him is really, really strong. But the same concern I had with Daniels in college, like, just like, I don't know that body like just can take the amount of hits, and now you're seeing the wear and tear already in year two with some reoccurring stuff. So I worry a little bit about the play style, and I worry about how adaptive he is if he does have to change his play style. Can he be as good as May, for example? The thing that impresses me the most about May, probably, I mean, everyone could easily probably say the arm strength and like the accuracy down the field has been remarkable. That was true in college too, I think. The thing that I think I appreciate the most is some of the subtle pocket movement from him, and the ability you saw it on the play where Vita Vea's got a clean shot at him. He slides out to the left of the pocket. He avoids Vea, but his eyes are downfield. He's always setting up to throw, and he sort of understands, okay, as soon as I avoid him, I've got to make this throw on time to Mac Hollins on the inbreaker. Makes the throw, or avoids Vea, makes the throw on time, perfectly accurate throw, and you're saying that to me is like creation ability quarterback beyond what sort of block for you. Now, May's not going to be he's not going to like be Patrick Mahomes in the pocket or anything like that. And the area he needs to most improve on is being able to get the ball out on time and being able to play faster at times, because he's taking a lot of sacks this year, and that part isn't necessarily sustainable. Now, he did this in an excellent way against the Bucs. So this was a huge area of improvement for him in a high-profile matchup in which he was pressured a ton in this game. And he's going to be pressured a ton, especially when you get into the playoffs in the big matchups. He's going to be pressured a ton. So to me, the reason why I feel higher on New England, for example, than Indianapolis and some of these other Denver and some of these other teams that people would probably tier with them, is because they have a quarterback who I think is excellent under pressure and can make the tough throws under pressure. And this game was a perfect example of that. But really all season, I think, has been a perfect example of that. Of, yes, he can, any part of the field, he can make a throw, and he has sort of that gamer to him where he's not worried about getting hit. He's not ducking or trying to avoid or scrambling when he shouldn't and things like that. I think he's able to stand in and deliver the ball on time in some of these situations, despite the fact that a hit is coming. And to me, that sort of moxie and demeanor kind of set him apart a little bit, but as well as just the physical ability to do that. Some of these guys can't physically make throws while getting hit or off their back foot or things like that. And May can do it. So when you combine those two things, and then just the fact that he's a student of the game and the leadership stuff and just his demeanor in general seems to be one the team has already adopted in year 2. And some of that's the backing of Vrabel and just the confidence Vrabel's given him, I think, and that, being able to support him and what that means to the room. But to me, those are the biggest things with May. It's just like there's so much to like in the intangibles and the tangibles, which, I mean, it should be a very exciting future for New England because of that.
This is why I get excited to pick your brain. And this is also where, I don't know, you can help my colleagues know how stubborn I am. There's an argument that I have kind of been making.
We know. He ain't got to help us.
Shush, it's my turn. Shush, it's my turn. Okay, so, John, there's an argument that I have been trying to make here subtly. I say subtly. To where some people were frustrated that certain moves, splash moves, weren't made at the trade deadline. And in my mind, I'm thinking they were focused on big picture. They have the potential to do more now, but they've exceeded expectations, so they don't have to put themselves out by oversaturating a wide receiving room. And I take it to the wide receiving room because at one point they had probably more wide receivers rostered than anybody anticipated coming out of training camp. They had some sleepers in training camp like Kyle Williams, who I'll get your opinion on here in a moment. But I realize that the NFL has had a problem kind of stunting the growth and development of players, and they've done it primarily with quarterbacks. I feel like there's more opportunity, there's more potential in this wide receiving room than given credit for. We saw a lot more out of Kyle Williams, and you and I saw it in Tampa Bay. If there's connection, it doesn't matter if that's a big wide receiver name. If that quarterback can rely on that player, they're going to make things happen. So what do we make of Kyle Williams, who was a massive projected sleeper in this previous draft class, and kind of the ceiling that we could see for him in New England?
Yeah, there just wasn't a receiver available, to my opinion, at the deadline that was going to move the needle like they need. They'll eventually, finding a guy who can be an absolute star, and maybe that is Kyle Williams. We'll talk about him, but I think that is going to be a priority for them. But just right now, was that player really available? I tend to think probably not at this deadline. I know there's some names people would point to, but even Rashid Shaheed, that's the player you're hoping Kyle Williams becomes, and then some. And he showed proof of concept at least this week against Tampa Bay. I think with Williams, the things you like the most, I'm not going to rewrite the book here, really. I think the vertical speed. I mean, that was the same way in college. He was able to get on top of corners and he was able to make plays down the field. I think that part of his game is really exciting. I wouldn't call him unbelievable run after the catch in terms of elusiveness or a guy you want catching the ball on bubble screens all game. But when you talk about just open speed or speed in the open field and ability to run away from defenders, this guy's top notch in that regard. So those things get you excited. The last thing that gets you excited about his game is the release package. When you press him at the line of scrimmage, he's already capable with the quick feet and the variety of moves that he has to be able to beat that press and get an early advantage in the rep. So that's an exciting part of his game that will show up, especially in the weighty down and distances when you're more likely to see press coverage in some of the third down red zone type situations. I do think he can be a factor. We saw glimpses of that even in the preseason with him. The issue with Williams that I think will need to continue to improve if he's ever going to be a high volume guy. I think he's played 155 snaps this season. So obviously he's not factored in a ton until injuries have kind of happened. The thing with him is just consistency, and then consistency from multiple receiver spots, right? How routes distribute from different alignments matters a lot. In college, he played a lot outside the numbers. He was a lot of vertical stuff with him as a receiver. That translates to the NFL in certain roles maybe, but if he's going to become, we just kind of pulled the Rashid Shaheed comp out just talking about the deadline, but if he's going to become a player like that, what Rashid Shaheed has improved the most at recently is just being able to win in a variety of route breaks from a variety of spots on the field. That is the NFL today. Everybody is playing inside. You're playing in reduced splits as a wide receiver. You're playing inside the numbers. You're playing in the slot. You're moving around. And so he's got to get better at playing, knowing how his routes distribute against different types of coverages. That's another key part. When he gets down the field, does he read the coverage correctly? Is there two highs? Is there one high? Is the middle of the field open? Is it closed? Those are the sorts of cerebral jumps that Kyle Williams needs to make. If he makes those jumps, the talent is undeniable with him. I was a huge fan of his pre-draft. I had him very high in my draft, in my wide receiver rankings, because I thought the talent was really tantalizing, and I thought he had the traits that could translate to a bigger role and a more versatile role in the NFL. So time will tell. It's certainly a step in the right direction in week 10, and he could be, if he's able to pick that stuff up, which is kind of outside of our purview until he plays more at least. If he picks that stuff up, he and Henderson could be real difference makers for them down the stretch of the season, because they add total different level of dynamism to their offense that they just didn't have before, just putting the ball in their hands. So they're probably two of the biggest guys to watch the rest of the year as far as rookies go.
John, it's prediction time. Pats, Jets, what do you got for tonight?
30 seconds, John. Give us a score, baby. No pressure.
Hey, Jets are playing better lately, but it doesn't matter. I think the Patriots are playing as well as anybody in the AFC right now. I don't think this one's going to be particularly close.
Yes, I love this guy.
Not particularly. I told you, he is the best. Jon Ledyard, Audibles and Analytics. Make sure you check out his podcast and all of the information that he has the tendency to break down, especially when it comes to the NFL draft. John, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on chat. Can't wait to hopefully have you back to continue to break down all things when it comes to the rookie class and the upcoming draft. 2026, it's not too far away.
That's right.
Hey, anytime, y'all. Thanks so much for having me. I truly appreciate it.
You are the best. Don't go anywhere. Let us know your thoughts, maybe even your predictions for Jets versus Patriots. 617-790-0928. When we get back, we take it from the gridiron to, well, the Bruins. Goal scoring. Revenge yet again. Join us back here on Boston is Under the Chat.
Welcome back to the chat. Bruins, they're streaking 7 in a row. Woo! Maybe they'll go for 8 tonight. And I'll just tell you this, a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Right?
They're going to get it.
There's pasta. There's Sturm. There's a lot happening. Geeks. Well, let me just tell you.
Swayman.
We'll break it all down, but friend of the show, Alan in Arizona, he's got some thoughts on the Bees. Let's hear it.
Hey, good morning, guys. Again, another morning. Listening to you guys, I don't need coffee. I'm already amped up. The Bruins, I look at them the same way I looked at the Patriots, the same way I looked at the Red Sox. We don't know what they were going to be, right? Like, everybody had all these predictions. I mean, all the things that I read on the Red Sox before the season started was they're going to be terrible. They need to, buy all these players. And then we end up making the playoffs. Patriots, same thing, right? And I'm not saying that these projections were unfair, but when the projection, then the outcome exceeds the projection, then you have to go with it. These Bruins, they look real. We have 2 big stars offensively, and then these other guys are coming up, and it doesn't seem like it's accidental. Maybe they just needed to play. Maybe they look free to play. I'm not saying that they're going to win the Stanley Cup, but they are, second in the Atlantic? Okay, and they're playing well. That's the whole thing. It doesn't seem fluky. They are playing well. So get on board or get off the ship. Have a wonderful day, guys.
Well, that was the message from Marco Sturm. Buy in or get out.
That's facts.
They bought in, and I just want to give Hampus Lindholm some credit.
Yes.
Since he's back in the lineup, they're 8-1. Their defense has put it together. But they're led by pillars, Kasey.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Jeremy Swayman's playing better. Say what you want.
Yep.
McAvoy, another 2 assists besides missing some time.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at it, the other pillars, right? You got Swayman, you got Pasternak, you got McAvoy. They're leading the way.
Yeah.
And they're buying into the system.
And you can add some other pillars to that because Morgan Geekie is having himself a campaign. And I like that Alan points out the fact that, you've got your superstars, right? But then you also have these other guys. And immediately I put diamonds in the rough. But I feel like I've brought a soapbox into the studio, and I've been standing on it ever since. Because, with opportunity, you can see what the potential may be. And this is one of those systems where I feel like you're going to see a different level of potential from players who were counted out. And that's what I love about it. That's what got me excited about this season. So heading into this matchup, yes, it's like, we're seeing the Senators for the 3rd time, for crying out loud. Deja vu, be damned. It's still a good test ahead because you've got the second line that led in the 3-2 overtime victory, then the second matchup versus the Senators. Well, likely no Middlestat. He was counted out week to week.
Right.
So you're looking at something different. While they led with time on ice, while they were huge for them, you're starting to see a bit of a surgence from Steves, who joined that second line in place of Casey Middlestat. And oh, by the way, led this Bruins team with hits versus the Toronto Maple Leafs on Tuesday night. So you have a guy who notably can score, did it in the AHL. You have to give the wiggle room to see how it translates from the AHL to the NHL. But more importantly, you're going to serve up a little bit of a different look versus this Senators team. And and they still should have some goals on their list in terms of how they kind of minimize the pressures that the Senators can present. The amount of times that you saw Pinto charging the net, you want to make sure that you cut that number down a little bit. You want to protect who I'm thinking would be Korpisalo between the pipes after seeing back-to-back performances from Swayman. And Korpisalo played very well and helped contribute to this overtime win on TD Garden ice last week. So I feel like every game is a test for this team, and they find different ways to win, but you see them getting more bonded. You see other guys start to kind of get involved, and we're seeing four lines find ways to roll more consistently, and that's where you're going to see a team that can go a little bit further than expected.
So you like the Bees tonight?
You know, I do.
Joe, you like the Bees tonight?
At some point, they can't stay this hot, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just being realistic. But teams that are in the playoff hunt around Thanksgiving generally make the playoffs about 70% of the time. So I know we're not there yet. They got a couple more games to go. But you just talked about bonding.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the team, the entire team, go out on the ice when David Pastrnak scored his 400th goal? I didn't see that last year when Brad Marchand did it. So
good point.
I'm making the case for David Pastrnak to be the captain of the Boston Bruins. They're buying in. He's leading the way. They all love him.
Yeah, they do.
So I wouldn't be surprised maybe tonight if there's just a nice little C on his uniform. I don't know if it would happen.
I don't
but
know if we're going to get it
first.
this season. I don't know if we're going to get it this season. But like you said, you can only stay so hot for so long. I think the focus tonight is just like continue to clean up a few things. Continue to control what you can. So like the game tying goal when they went 2-2 in the previous matchup was on a power play opportunity given to the Senators. And again, one of the top teams when it comes to special teams operations. So they have things that they can be like, let's go in and make sure that this doesn't happen so that they can continue to go streaking.
Just and add another thing here. How good have they been on the faceoff?
Yeah.
Right? Some of the teams have been playing. Toronto.
And you thought it
was
would have
great at
fallen
it.
off when Elias Lindholm came out of the lineup. But I mean, you've seen a number of guys step up between Pavel Zacha. I mean, Mark Kastelik. A lot of guys have gotten better to help. What are you doing over there?
Well, I'm not going to say who because they're not cutting a check, but I'm on a sportsbook page as we speak.
Oh, here we go.
Tonight's magic number is 8, folks. Bees' momentum will carry them to a 4-2 victory tonight. That's 8 in a row if you're keeping count. Bruins on the money line plus 145. I'll take that, and I'll combine it with the Patriots minus 850 on the money line. You ain't gonna make no money just betting that, but when you put it together, how about 8 in a row for the Pats? I'll go 2013. Maybe the Jets will cover. 2013 Patriots ugly win. It's not sexy, but it's a win. You know that payout? Plus 175. I don't hate it. I tried this the other night, and the Celtics screwed me with the Boston Sports Parlay. I'm going back to the well. Bruins had my back the other night. I think the Patriots have it tonight. Boston Sports, it's coming up. Bling, bling tonight.
The Bruins games have gone over a lot lately.
They have.
Maybe I might add that one for a 3-legger.
It's at 5.5. It's at 5.5.
Might have to do that one.
I don't know. Last time it ended up 3-2 in OT. I have no idea where the score will go. I just know that I want to continue to see some fun Bruins hockey.
Fair enough.
Well, you'll be able to check out the game tonight, Bees and Senators, and get the latest up-to-date live Boston sports headlines along with your daily dose of trending sports and social topics every weekday on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Catch us live 8 a.m. on Nesson and 9 a.m. on Nesson Nation. That's every Monday through Friday. Catch us next. Nesson Nation, Boston Has Entered the Chat.